Okay, hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Crimson. Sorry for like the scuffed audio real quick. Um, my microphone like broke yesterday, so we're having to use the headset mic, but we're gonna make work with what we have to do. This is just a quick 2.1 tier list, and some predictions for like Acheron, Adventurine, and Gallagher. Yeah, um, I think most of the stuff that we did in this video is pretty accurate. Um, there will be timestamps in the description, so if you want to check out your favorite character, or just check out towards the end to see where we put your character at, um, yeah, yeah, it'll be there. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna try and fix my mic hopefully by 2 weeks or so. So we'll see. But yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Peace.
Okay. Okay. What's going on, YouTube? How's it going? It's Crimson. I'm joined by my mom, Buster, and Norlin. And today we're gonna do a 2.1 tier list because we have Acheron, Adventurine, and Gallagher. So we're just gonna.
And also we're redoing the tier list because we screwed up last time with
I
the
messed.
placement.
Oh yeah.
And we also want views.
True. Real. Okay. 2.1 early tier list. So yeah, we can start off with trailblazers.
Okay, so physical trailblazer, he's like, I mean, he's your standard starting unit. He's fine for the beginning, and it's like, that's all he's good for. Maybe like C tier. He's not useless.
Yeah.
He's not good.
I agree.
See,
Anyone got anything bad?
What I was gonna say is male trailblazer, physical trailblazer is a D, but female trailblazer is the C, just for the drip.
For the waifu factor. You know what?
Base.
Fine, whatever.
Okay.
Now fire trailblazer. Last time we put them in B tier. That was a mistake. It turns out I don't know how to read. I'm sorry. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. It is what it is.
Real.
They're pretty good. Yeah, they have a taunt, and it's the only taunt in the game as far as I'm aware of. And they just take a lot less damage than they're supposed to. They're still very much usable. They're not ideal for anything, but they're good for everything. So I say A tier.
Oh, A?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with A tier because they apply a damage reduction to everybody, while also giving themselves like 50% damage reduction while taunting the enemies. So it's basically a lesser version of Xuan.
Yeah.
Lesser.
Yeah, I haven't built out my trailblazer yet, so that's why I was kind of hesitant to put them in A tier, but I feel like if they were built, then I could see them being A tier.
Yeah, but jokes aside, can we move L Trailblazer back to C simply because it's kind of gouging my eyes out? No, not that one, the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're in the same tier.
Here, we'll just put the female one higher.
Yeah.
Sure, preferences.
Okay. Bailu.
Bailu. Well, now we're into the 5-star standard banner cast. Bailu
Yeah.
is abundant, so obviously she's the healer, but she's RNG. She's like she's way better than Natasha, which she was the only option way back then. You do have to work for Lynx, which Lynx is better than her, but Bailu, if you get her, she's decent.
Yeah.
So B tier? Anyone?
I agree.
I would say B tier, all because she may have a revive, but that
that's what she has a
credits
revive.
that all the other abundance characters have. It's just so good.
Yeah. I feel like she just got outclassed. I don't know. Okay, we can
Okay,
move on.
so Bronya, I didn't expect to ever say this, but she's A tier now because we have better things in the game. Surprisingly enough, she's still possibly the best standard 5-star. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Harmony. Harmony's broken.
Should we make a
But-
EX tier?
We'll just treat S tier. Actually, no, wait, make EX tier, sure.
Okay.
We'll move her to S tier, and then we'll keep her
Yeah.
at S tier, and then make EX tier for like the broken stuff.
Yeah, because my opinion, I think Bronya is I think Bronya is still good, only if you don't have Sparkle. If you have Sparkle, then there's no point in getting...
Dude, I love how we
Well,
prepared
it's-
for this, by the way, and we still didn't include EX tier up until now.
So, my deal with it is if you don't have Sparkle and Ruan May, then she's S tier.
Mm.
Yeah, but like,
Because,
uh-huh.
because the only way you're gonna power creep a buffer
is by
is
having a better
if
one.
you power creep 2 buffers, essentially.
Yeah, because of Muck.
Yeah.
Okay, Memory of Chaos. But EX tier, I wouldn't really put her EX tier because EX tier is like the most broken of broken characters. Like they work on their own and they're great in every single situation. Bronya is not that anymore, as sad as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, she can still work very well because of the attacking crit damage bonus she gives on ult, and the instant advance forward on her skill, plus just straight up damage bonus.
Yeah, but it's just damage, is what it is. Like get advance forward, but Sparkle does that. Plus her ultimate has its own thing.
To be honest, I'll have to look at the scaling for Sparkle again.
It's
But
it's 45% crit damage flat, and then a percentage of her crit damage.
yeah, which Bronya
Which-
ult is the same way.
I'm pretty sure Sparkle's skill buff is higher than Bronya's ultimate buff to compensate for her advance forward only being 50% as opposed to Bronya's 100%. So it's kind of like a potato. You could use one or the other, but one is clearly superior.
16 and 20% of Bronya. Yeah, it's higher to compensate. Because normally Bronya's at max gives 16% crit damage plus 20% of Bronya's crit damage on her ult, while Sparkles, to compensate for it only being 50% advance forward and a single target buff, is a 24% crit damage flat plus 45% of Sparkle's crit damage. So it is a heavier crit damage buff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, when it comes to Clara, hot take, she's S tier. I said it. I do use her with Topaz, so it's like I do a little bit more damage than she should normally do. But I think she does her job well enough. She is essentially a free destruction character from standard banner. I mean, not conventionally free, but if you have her, she's a really good destruction. She does the job well, and I personally also don't want to be on Svarog's bad side, so put her in S tier.
Real. Okay. It's okay. I would probably put her in
I
A.
say this as someone who uses her very frequently. Actually, I've started using her more than I do ratio. which is crazy to think, I know, but
Okay.
I just like her better, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. But, like, I don't know. I feel like, okay, but you're using her, like, at max potential, though. Like, let's say for, like, someone, okay, like, let's...
Yeah, that is true. I'm using her with Topaz and Ruan Mei, and that's, like,
Yeah.
the amount of damage she's getting. So, I mean, I guess we could compensate for A rank.
I'd
'Cause,
probably
like-
put her top of A rank. I think she does her thing well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Clara,
I'm fine with
Clara,
that.
I would say A rank because she is tanky. She is very tanky. And not only that, but she can dish back damage.
The thing with her is follow-up characters usually have a limiter on the amount of follow-up they can do. She doesn't. She follow-ups as many times as attack her.
She gets
Which-
attacked. Yeah.
So, given that she's a destruction character, she's bound to take most hits. And then dish them back.
Could I add something in real quick?
Go ahead.
Back on Bronya's case.
Uh-huh.
Bronya's damage bonus off of her skill is actually more than Sparkle's, surprisingly enough.
Oh, wow.
Sparkles gives a 48% damage bonus on both her passive and the ultimate being maxed, while Bronya's skill, while maxed, gives a 66 damage bonus. 66% damage bonus.
Yeah, but like, I see where you're going with this, but like, I feel like Sparkle just has way more utility, and she also kind of does Bronya's job better because she has that utility, but I can see where you're going.
Not only that, but Bronya gives the entire team 20% defense for 2 turns, while also, just already, while she's on the field, all allies deal 10% more damage. So actually, that's 76, just from her.
Yeah, there is that. I don't know, it's kind of a funny case where she can be very low EX or top of S rank, so it's like, what do you guys prefer?
It depends. I think she can go in both. I'm probably just gonna put her in S because I don't think she's EX.
Because like, I would personally just keep her at S, but the thing is, I'm not doing this tier list alone. You two are here as well, so I say we agree on like where to put things.
I think she's
I
S.
would agree that she is S because there are enemies coming out that basically are too tanky for a Bronya buffed ally to kill. Unless you have like Bronya Ruan Mei or Bronya Sparkle or whatever.
Yeah. I think if
You
you
basically need 2 buffers to 1 turn.
Yeah, I think if you don't have Sparkle or like any other buffer, I think she can go into EX, but I think just by herself, and then I think there's definitely going to be more options in the future. I think for now, I think S rank's like pretty comfortable for her. Okay.
Okay, so moving on, Mr. Norland, would you like to take over the next one? I know how much you like Gepard, so
God. So, Crimson, context on this. Gepard really loves my accounts for some reason. NA. I have his light cone and him at E3.
Holy.
EU, I have him and his light cone. And on
it gets better.
I have him E1 with his light cone.
Dude.
He just doesn't stop coming. But Gepard, I would say probably A tier, to be honest, because the shield he gives is insane. Like, I end up giving my team probably like 4k, 5k health shields.
mean,
and
he is kind of like the only decent shielder we have right now. Like, sure, you have like 7, but her shield is negligible, and so is like Fire Trailblazer. You're not using Fire Trailblazer for the shield. It's just kind of there.
yeah, you're just using Fire Trailblazer for the damage reduction. But also looking at Gepard's Eidolons, because he's a standard banner 5-star, you're probably gonna get Eidolons of him. His Eidolons are garbage.
Dang.
Just saying that straight up. His Eidolons are garbage. His E1 increases his chance to freeze on his skill. His E2, if he does freeze the enemy and they become unfrozen, they get a speed reduction. E4 is the only worthwhile one, because it gives your entire team 20% effect resist. And his E6, when he triggers his passive and revives, instead of going up to 50% health, he goes full recovery.
Yeah, speaking of the revive, it's worth mentioning he does in fact have a revive, so there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I'm... Okay.
Normally, it goes to 50%, but on his E6, that goes all the way to full 100%.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is I probably put him bottom of A tier, just because he's once again like standard character, so he has that debuff on him, and he's probably gonna get outclassed. Probably I don't know, maybe by Aventurine, but to be honest, I don't think most people are gonna pull for him, so I think they're probably gonna stick with their Gepard.
Probably.
Yeah, so
But he's still not bad, to be frank, because one of its passives, when his revive is triggered, he gives himself full energy, so you can immediately proc a shield when he revives.
yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
And not only that, but he's more likely to be targeted.
The only reason why I put him under the Trailblazers is because Fire Trailblazer has the accessibility factor to him, and I feel like that kind of plays a role in team building. Like, if you have Gepard, obviously he's better, but most speed players are just gonna have Fire Trailblazer.
Yeah.
And I will add in to why Gepard is probably worse than Fire Trailblazer, is because Fire Trailblazer can actually do damage. Gepard cannot.
True.
You are literally having him there just for shield.
Yeah, I think
And for him
It's
to
a
be a
chunky
sponge.
shield, though. It is a chunky shield.
it is.
Yes,
We're
he's
talking
a
like
shield,
50% of your health bar, chunky.
and he is a sponge.
True. Okay, let's try to we're at 17 minutes. We only have like 5 characters.
No, it's fine. This is gonna be a marathon, and we're gonna like it.
Yeah, we're gonna chop it up. Okay, Himeko, you guys can go first on this.
Honestly, I'm not sure where to put her here, but I feel like A tier is kind of good for her, simply because she's very good for pure fiction, and that's kind of her only role right now. Sure, she has follow-up damage. The problem is you have to break enemies to trigger the follow-up. Either you get 3 stacks for a boss or 1 stack individually for smaller enemies, but you need 3 to trigger the follow-up, which is a portion of her damage. Her ult's just kind of okay, it's just there. And her skill is blast, I think?
Yes.
Which
And
again,
applies burn.
which again is still fine, but her kits kind of revolved around the follow-up. You don't really get to see that outside of pure fiction, where the content is specifically tailored towards AoE. I've said my piece.
Okay.
So I've used her extensively, and I would say she's actually in between Fire Trailblazer and Clara, because she does have to worry about actually breaking the enemy, but her follow-up damage is actually pretty good compared to
I would have to agree. What's your take, Crimson?
Okay. So personally, I'm more of like an S tier kind of person, only because I really do like pure fiction, and I'm an erudition main. So I really love characters like Yuan and Argenti. But I agree.
Bias.
Yeah, a little bit, a tad bit, but yeah,
Yeah, it's biased, but I agree.
Okay, yeah. I could see you guys putting her in A rank. Personally, I do think Pure Fiction. I think Pure Fiction, she is kind of like a must-have unit. So for that reason, that's the only reason why I put her in S. And I think at least for right now, I think besides like Hook and Fire Trailblazer, there's not really like a lot of like AOE fire. So I mean, besides Gunaifen, but like. That's really like mostly dots.
Like the Knifeman's dot. It kind of does. I mean, it counts, but it doesn't.
I do want to add something in as well. Most of the time, you're catering a team that can break the enemy's weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. There's like very few teams that can just brute force the game.
True.
You are usually trying to cater to the weaknesses.
Yeah.
Which, if you are catering to the weakness, himeko can actually do her thing.
Mm. Yeah. So that's why, yeah, I was gonna add that. I was gonna say, like, she mainly focuses on weakness breaks, because that's how her follow-up attack procs. So I think, especially for this, this Pure Fiction, with stage 4 being fire and ice, himeko just kind of pops off. But I think besides that, she's not really usable in like, too much content, so that's why I would put her in, like, probably, like, right here. But I think for Pure Fiction, she's probably, like, S, like, probably bordering the X tier. Because she can get, like, 40,000 point clears easily.
Okay, next up, Old Man Welt. I love this guy because I played Honkai Impact 3rd, and I am slightly biased towards him, so keep that in mind. It pains me that he's like, in my opinion, he's only A tier, and that makes me very sad. Because he's good for what he does. He reduces speed. He can be a damage dealer. But yeah, he's like good all around, but he's not the best at anything.
Okay.
So I would agree with A tier because he deals more damage when hitting an enemy with slow, and his ult can apply imprisonment and vulnerability, which increases damage. So I would put him at A tier just because he can do all of that without any eidolons or his cone.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Mono Imaginary is still pretty strong, especially with Don Hung Il and more characters like Adventuring coming out. I think he's okay. I think besides Mono Imaginary though, I don't think he has too many uses. Just because we do have better like supports. So yeah, I think
the thing is, you're not even running Mono Imaginary anymore, because if you're running ill, you're running Sparkle, because why would you torture yourself without Sparkle?
True. I think Sparkle now has kind of put, well, like, I did put him above Gepard just because I think he does provide more for more than Gepard.
More than Gepard, yeah.
Yeah. But I think just supports just kind of like put him like below. Like he's just gonna keep going down from here.
I will add in as well. He is actually pretty good if you want to try and run a 4-piece imaginary on Dr. Ratio as well.
Mm.
Oh yeah, his ultimate forces imprisonment. Oh yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good for Dr. Ratio as well. But outside of that, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, Yanqing.
Can we delete this character, please?
Throw him in the dumpster.
Okay,
This
guys.
is the worst DPS you could. No, not the worst, but like one of the worst DPS you can have, even among 4-star characters.
So C tier.
D tier. Like bro
D?
does
Okay.
bro does not, no D tier.
A D.
Like
Oh.
bro does not function without Gepard. who, might I add, is also a standard 5-star. So good luck getting both of them. You're gonna need it.
Yeah, I think just any character that you pull is just tremendously better than yanqing.
For context, he loses his follow-up passive if he takes damage at all. And believe it or not, I know it's shocking, but AoE attacks exist.
Not only that, but dots also exist.
But yeah, there's that too.
And there's just better.
If Jing takes damage from a dot, it will get rid of his passive.
TLDR, if you get this as your first 5-star, please just reset your account. It's not worth it.
And I think there's just better single target characters, just completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were talking about how yanqing was the worst DPS in the game.
Yeah,
No, Arlan is.
Arlan is worse.
Yeah. Dude. Unfortunate. Okay.
Literally every other 4-star character works except him.
Dude, there's like not even a need to explain his kit, because like he's so bad he's not even worth considering using, because he damages himself to do damage, and in no scenario is that a good thing.
Yeah.
He has no survivability, like Blade, essentially.
That too.
And he just does like no damage, so you're just losing health to just kill yourself. Okay.
Boys, A for Asta. Agreed?
I'd agree.
Got it?
I agree.
I mean, she increases damage, increases speed, and has a bounce attack that is a weakness shred to fire bosses.
I just realized all the fire characters we have so far are in A tier. Let's go, baby.
Yep.
Fire's cooking.
Dude, it's completely opposite from Genshin. Holy. Okay. We could do.
Mr. Don Hung. He is.
I would say C tier.
Okay, yeah, see. Yeah.
Yeah, C tier makes sense. The problem with him is all of his damage is locked behind targets being slowed, and out of the characters that can slow, his skill can, which if you do that, you're missing out on ult energy first and foremost, because you have to skill and then ult, or you get lucky and get welt. Other than that, have fun.
Well, I will also add in his passive. In order to trigger his passive, which gives him wind resistance shred, and I think a attack percent bonus. In order for him to get that passive, he needs to be buffed, which you need a buffer for that. And if you try and skill, then ult, the skill is going to get that passive compared to him doing it with his ult.
TLDR, he can work, but like, why bother? You need a specific team.
Yeah.
Or semi-specific.
I'd agree. In my opinion, he's mostly just early game. I think, like, late game, he just really just falls off. So I think he's just...
I mean, early game, he's nice. Early game, he's very nice.
Yeah, like, for my account, I used him, like, a lot when I was, like, low trailblazer level. But towards the end, there's just so many better DPSs.
Herta's... I'm gonna keep it straight. Herta's actually kind of nice right now. Like, she used to not have a place. She's kind of a similar case with Himeko, because like back when the game launched, when we were given the chance to test out the new characters, like when they released, everything was tailored towards specifically destruction and hunt. And now that we have pure fiction, people are starting to use AoE characters, and Herta fits really well in there. And also, he has basically free follow-ups twice per turn, which I'm not gonna lie, that saved me in this pure fiction right here. Like the one that's happening right now, this stat. So I would say, I don't know if A tier is like too high for her, but like she's definitely not below B.
I would say probably B tier because of the scaling.
Yeah, but
of her stuff. But
you also have to account that you get free Herta copies, and by the time we finish like Sim Uni, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be guaranteed E6. Right now we're on E4 though. Like, without getting any additional copies.
I think we're actually at E5.
No, we've done the counting last time. It's E4.
Well, I do like the fact that she is basically a free follow-up attacker because when the enemy hits half health, that's when she does a follow-up. There is a bit of randomness that I sensed in her kit for her follow-ups. Because I don't know if she's gonna do 1 spin or 4 spins.
People are gonna hate me for this, but like, I think Herta is the best free character, like out of the ones you get early on.
Early on free characters, yeah, it's debatable between Herta and Asta.
Yeah. My opinion, yeah, I just put her next to Himeko because they pretty much both function. Like, they're pretty much, you use them together in Simulated Universe. Or not, sorry, not Sim, PF, Pure Fiction. Yeah. Yeah, she's just pretty much, like, she just synergizes with Himeko really well. And that's why, I was debating putting her, that's why I was debating putting her in S tier, not S, I think S is a little too high for her, but I think A tier with Himeko is pretty comfy. I just want to like quickly go back to Himeko. I think Himeko can be an S tier, but strictly probably only in Pure Fiction because I don't think you use her.
The reason why I don't want her anywhere near S tier, because like, with S tier units, you're kind of expecting them to be usable pretty much anywhere. With Himeko, she's only really good in Pure Fiction.
Yeah.
Fiction or just a straight up farming team.
Yeah, but my brother in Christ, this game's almost a year old. If you don't have a team that can actually farm, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Himeko and Herta being on a team, you can clear it within, like, I think 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah, you can farm faster, but my point being, you can clear, like, I assume you're talking about calyxes, but you can clear calyxes with pretty much anything as long as it's decently built.
Yeah, but I'm meaning, like, they're in a team, they are the fastest farming team, but either way, moving on.
I mean, that's a plus, I guess.
Yeah. Moving on. Hook.
I would say B tier, only because to get her, she's a destruction character, and destruction characters typically have AoE skills, which in a sense she does, but you need to use her ultimate and you only get 1 charge of it. But she has a burn gimmick, which is, I guess, interesting. But she's just kind of okay. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, she's like pretty mid, but yeah, I don't know. Pretty much when I said last tier list, I think there's just better fire characters to use. Okay, we can move on to March.
Yeah, sure. March, where do we put her? Like B tier, maybe? She's okay. I mean, she has a skill that also cleanses. She has the ability to freeze with her ultimate, but then again, she also has follow-ups. But like, the thing is, I've only ever seen her used in Clara teams, and with Clara teams, you don't want to ult because you want them to attack Clara or Clara to counter back. So it's kind of like a dead slot. You basically don't have an ultimate in that team if you want to run it optimally. So she's an interesting character. She just doesn't really have a place.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any thoughts, Norlin?
For March, not really. She is a very good shielder. It's just she can only shield 1 ally per turn, and if you want to shield multiple allies, you have to use multiple skill points. And her freezing the enemies is already a pretty low chance anyways. But outside of
Yeah.
Hey guys, is it considered lucky or unlucky if I'm freezing things with March on a Clara team?
Okay, wait. So, okay, my quick opinions on March. I have seen like some content. Like, there's some content. I think like Golden Gears. Like, you can
Yeah,
clear
if
it
you
with
use
March.
Golden Gear's Remembrance route.
Yeah.
But with Remembrance, you can run any ice character. It's not specifically just her.
Yeah, true. And also, I don't know. I think her cleanse is just kind of like it's okay, but I feel like just in the future we're probably gonna get more cleanse characters. So I think she's just pretty mid. I think at
Without
least.
a doubt, we're
Yeah.
gonna get more.
Yeah.
Natasha, I'm sorry, but C tier.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
She's like, she barely heals, and you have to use a skill point for it. Her ultimate's also a heal, but you gotta get to it first and foremost, and it doesn't really do anything special. Like, she's just the, okay, I heal and do nothing else character. Her E6, for some reason, turns her into a pseudo damage dealer, which I don't even know why that's there. But, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Natasha, she is the most bare bones healer.
Hey, at least she's free. Then she's got
Yeah,
that going
she's
for her.
Yeah, she's a free character, which is great.
Yeah, because in this type of game, you do need a healer. You will get hit.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of why. But when, I mean.
Yeah. I'd agree. I think just she's definitely early game. Falls off late game tremendously.
I would even argue she falls off mid game.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think by mid game, you should pretty much like have some good characters, some good 5 stars at least.
Okay, so Pela, put her up there. She's S tier.
Okay, I was gonna. Okay, S or EX?
S.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you know, she has an AoE defense shred. She can, her skill can remove buffs, which counts towards the Mara struck enemies that revive. You know, those annoying things. It's like, she's really nice. Her eidolons are okay. Besides, like, I think it's E4 that increases damage? I don't know. E4 is important, but I don't remember what it does.
I'm
But
pretty sure.
I can tell you.
Pela is... TLDR, Pela is broken, and everyone should build her. I myself did not, and I am very sorry for it, but I will build her eventually.
Yeah.
So, her E4, whenever she does use her skill, it lowers the target's ice resistance.
There we go, there
Which
it is.
means ice allies will deal more damage.
There it is.
AKA Jingliu.
True.
Okay, so, moving on. Qingque.
Oh wait.
She's a gambler. She likes games. Essentially, she's just like me. For real. I'm sorry, by the way. And I'm thinking like, okay, you're gonna disagree, but because of Sparkle, I say she's S tier. If we're not taking into consideration Sparkle, she's like A, at most.
I would say A tier.
Yeah.
Because in order for her to be runnable with Sparkle, you do kinda need her E4.
I mean, yes and no. Like, her E4 is really nice because it essentially doubles your damage, but you're not guaranteed to get it even if you have it, because it's a 24% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to quickly add something for Pela. Pela's thing also counts for the big deer, the ebon deer, the little spawny things that have the counter thing. I think it's like it also counts towards that, which is also huge for Pure Fiction because if you attack it with himeko, like it will just completely destroy her. So I think her E also comes in clutch for that too for Pela.
And
Yeah, the attack boost and the defense boost that removes weakness break.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. For Qingque, I think she does require eidolons for her to be good. But I mean, yeah, I think with Sparkle, her value increased.
Her E6 is by far her most important one. I mean, go figure, it's the last one. But once per turn, she just recovers a skill point after using her skill, which goes hard.
True.
Yeah, it lowers how much skill points she really needs.
But, like, just get lucky, Forehead. If she's good though. Jokes aside, she's good if you can make use of her.
Yeah, I agree.
Sampo, he fell off. Like, I don't know, B tier.
Yeah, I'll probably put him like bottom B tier.
Yeah, because Black Swan
True.
does his job but better.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a wind dot character. You're using him specifically with Kafka, and Kafka just prefers Black Swan now, so, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have it, sure, he's good, but...
True. Okay, Serval.
Serval C?
Yeah, I'm gonna put her
You
C.
think? Her damage is like... She's meant to be a damage dealer, but she doesn't do too much of it. Like, back when Kafka came out, people were mostly using Serval simply because that gave Kafka another shock stack. And that's like the only time I've seen her be used. Unironically.
I would say very low B tier.
Yeah, I can see that too.
If you build her, she can kinda do damage.
I can see it. It's just...
But
I can see her doing damage, it's just I haven't seen her do damage, you know?
Yeah.
And not only that, but her one of her things is when she does defeat an enemy, or upon defeating an enemy, when an enemy dies, her attack gets increased by 20%.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, my opinion is I mainly saw her being used to counter Yuan because everyone's like, oh, I'm not pulling for Yuan, I'm not pulling for Yuan, and then they use Serval. But she's just trash now, and look who's on top. Our general still on
we'll
top.
get to him. Trust me, we will get to. I have things to say about him. Don't you worry.
Okay, we can do Sushang.
Sushang, last time, we put her with Hook, and I don't think it changed. I think she's still B tier. However, I think she's on the top of B tier.
Oh, top? Oh, wow.
I'd agree.
Okay.
Because what I didn't know, like, I understood her ultimate essentially, but what I didn't know about it is that it refreshes your turn after you use it.
If you break them?
No, just if you use it.
Oh, if you use it?
Yeah.
Doesn't she have something to do with, like, breaking, though? Or is that on her E? Is that on her E?
Yeah, so basically she has a third of a chance, like, 1/3 of a chance to do double the damage you would do with her skill, but if they're broken, that's guaranteed.
It's
Okay.
guaranteed, and on top of that, but if you use her ultimate then skill, it procs that
2 to 3
damage
times.
2 more times. It's just 2 more times.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
wait, are we still on Sushang? Anyone else got anything to say?
No, we can move on to tingyun.
Uh,
Oh, wait, Norland
Okay.
or something?
So she does actually have a damage bonus she gives herself when sword stance is triggered, but it's every time sword stance is triggered, which means every time you ult, you get 2 chances to trigger it. So, and it's only a 2% bonus, so it's not that much, but it is still something.
Now, next one is interesting, and I'm dying to see where we'll put Tingyun, because I think she is like either top of A tier or low, like a really low S tier. So it's like she blocks attack, she gives you all energy, what's not to like, yada yada. She's good. Is she good enough as a 4-star harmony though, because every single harmony in the game is absolutely broken for no reason whatsoever.
I would say high A tier. Like I'd say top A.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking. Because
she is worse than Bronya in the fact that she has no advanced forward power. In fact, she gives herself speed after buffing an ally. But she gives an ally attack, gives ally damage bonus and ult energy on her ult. And one of her passives, when an ally is buffed by her, if they do damage extra based on Tingyun's attack.
I think the nice thing about her though is, I mean, her and Pela are like the only 4-stars that actually matter.
Yes.
But it's actually impressive how useful she is for being a 4-star. You know, like she pretty much changes having her and not having her pretty much changes your whole account depending on what you have on your roster.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, my only grievance with Tingyun is, why the fuck do I feel like I'm playing a preservation character disguised as a harmony? He gets hit every single time.
Yeah, that's real. Okay, so my quick opinion. The only reason why I was gonna put her in S is only because I use her on Planetary Rendezvous. And obviously that's for Jing Yuan. And I think she's just kind of insane too. I think her battery, is kind of insane. I don't have her at E6, but I still feel like she charges up pretty well.
I don't either. Mine's like E2 or 3.
I've messed with E6 a little bit. If you're doing MOC, she gives a free ultimate turn 1, essentially.
Yeah.
If you're able to get her full energy.
Which you will be, because you can use multiple skill points to replenish her ult before the fight starts.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why I was debating putting her in S tier. I don't think most people have her E6 though, so I think A tier is fine, but I think if you have her E6 and you're using her with like Jing Yuan or like another, maybe Acheron, probably not, but
you need to do a hill with Acheron, I think.
Here's the thing with Acheron, from what I've seen. It looks like Acheron does not need energy for her ult.
Yeah, oh, you're true. Yeah.
She just needs those debuffs to be able to trigger her ult.
True. I forgot about that. Yeah, Acheron doesn't use...
It does not look like Acheron needs energy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think her value actually kind of drops there. Never mind. Yeah, I think A tier is fine. I think if you're using her with Jing Yuan, that's S tier, but sadly not enough people pull for a general, so we'll take that.
Okay, Seal. Hot take.
She's fallen off.
I mean, obviously she's fallen off, but my hot take is that she's worse than qingque. Her skill point wise, she's better, but qingque is simply stronger now.
Yeah, I would say low A tier.
Oh wow.
The way qingque's skill works, every time you fail the coin toss, she increases her overall damage dealt. So by the time you get her AoE attack, your AoE is hitting on a singular enemy as much as Steel's single target is hitting on it, and you're hitting three enemies because it's a blast skill.
Yeah, and the only way to get full, basically full damage on Seele, she needs to deal a killing blow to an enemy in order to get the full damage that she wants.
Yeah, which means you have to run her as a hyper carry, which, funny story, I did try, and I'm still not impressed. Like, she did like 100k, and sure, that's fine, but other characters just have more going for them. I still remember when she first came out and we were all losing our minds how she's never gonna get power crept, and fast forward a year later and here we are. I mean, she's still good. She's just not meta.
everybody was freaking out about the extra turn that she got after killing an enemy, which it was pretty good at the time. But now, all of the DPSs are just dealing more damage than she could.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, you know who hasn't fallen off? On the contrary, our general is S tier.
I'd agree. Honestly,
Honestly,
yeah, I agree. I think
I mean,
Tyler
I know, you know how? It has to do with his team members. He finally got a decent team he can run. But like, even with, like, let's say you just get Xuan, he's still very runnable with the free-to-play supports. Like, you run pela tingyun, and he's still fine. But right now, he's, dare I say, one of the better characters we have that we can use, especially in pure fiction. But you can, here's the funny part, you can also run him in MOC now.
Okay.
So he released pretty garbage, but I think he's unironically good now.
So, I will agree that he is S tier, but I would say lower S tier.
Okay.
Because he actually could have been way better. But they nerfed it.
Yeah,
Because
sad-
he used to
sad
have a
truth.
lightning damage bonus for his traces instead of attack. And that took off a lot of damage for it. And not only that, but his follow-up attack looks like AoE, but it's just bouncing blast attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like AoE. It feels like AoE, but wouldn't you guess it? It's not AoE.
Yeah. It's technically a bouncing blast follow-up, which can do a lot of damage. But if there's only one target, I mean, it still does a lot of damage. It will deal a lot of weakness break efficiency, but I don't know. He could have been better.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna yap real quick. I do think he is. I think he is S tier. I don't think he's EX, sadly, just because of the inconsistencies with Lightning Lord. And
I'm sorry, but I don't think he'll ever be EX. But seeing him
Yeah.
in S tier, it feels actually kind of nice.
unless they like actually change him, then he's probably like never gonna be EX, which sucks. But I do think he could still like at least remain S, maybe even A tier.
I mean, hear me out. HSR dev team actually listens to us. So like, if we complained if we managed to get people to complain about him for some reason, I feel like they would change his back.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
now.
actually, I do have something to add. Topaz,
Alright.
who has the same kind of follow-up, if she gets imprisoned or like CC'd at all, nobody will still follow up.
Mhm.
So why can't they do that for Yuan?
Oh, they're going for the logic that Thunderlord is a stand because haha JoJo reference, didn't see that one coming, did ya? And
But the thing is, it still has its own volition. So
I mean-
what's stopping Lightning Lord from doing its thing?
Yeah.
a funny piece of code. Other than that, nothing.
Yeah.
Funny piece of code.
But I think Sparkle's addition to Jing Yuan is also kind of crazy. She just like makes him. I think she just makes him double his damage. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
so let me explain what's going on here. So the reason why Bronya didn't work, but Sparkle does, is because Bronya is coded in a way where her buff only lasts for the character's turn, like the one attack that you get, while
Yeah.
Sparkle's buff lasts until the end of the turn, which means Thunderlord will also get the buff.
Well, also, I want to point out, with the whole Bronya thing, if you're running Bronya with Jingliu, the only way you're gonna have her buff actually stay is if you have her E6. Because Bronya's E6 extends the duration of the damage bonus placed on by her skill by another turn. But you need an E6 bronya to do that.
Good luck.
True.
You're gonna need it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So also, yeah. So Sparkle made him huge. I think. What's her name? Topaz. I think he just keeps getting buffed. I think they're still trying to fix him, like how they did Seele with like mono quantum, and they're trying to like just do mono quantum. I think now they're focusing on Jing Yuan, with the addition of Sparkle and Topaz, and the follow-up attack set. That was like all of those were literally just made for him. So I think if they keep buffing him, I think it's probably eventually gonna stop. But I think for now at least he's like S tier. The only thing that really does like it is his lightning lord especially too, and when you get 10 stacks and it's like on a low HP enemy, then that's pain right there.
Dude, can we appreciate how you've been coping since Jing Yuan's release back in 1.0 that he'd get buffed, and unironically he did get buffed.
I'm telling you, there's no way. Like, dude, the amount of people that pulled, I don't think a lot of people pulled for him because, Seele was waifu. But I think for the people who stuck around, dude, I think we're starting to like see him like actually pop off. But yeah, he's not as good as other damage dealers, sadly. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Okay, Silver Wolf. Excellent release. No, she's not EX.
She's not?
But
Wait, she's actually.
Yeah, no, she's not.
Oh, wow.
She's not EX, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
I will explain why. I have a PhD in Silver Wolf knowledge because I've been using her ever since she came out. So the reason why she's not EX tier is because she's not usable in every situation. If a team calls for her, she will be the MVP of the team. But she's not. Her kit is made in a way where not all characters can benefit off it. Her ultimate's incredibly powerful, 45% defense shred, and the fact that she can apply what's her face? The weaknesses at will is also a good thing. The problem, however, is that she has a 25% chance to apply the weaknesses depending on the amount of elements that are on the field. Like, let's say you have bronya and you have 3 quantums. That's still a 50% because it's counting 2 elements, and that's the main problem. Is that she can miss her thingy, but she has had a resurgence very recently with ratio because she can solo provide the debuffs that he needs to ramp up his damage. So she does have a team where her skill is not necessary for her to do her job. The thing with Silver Wolf though is that her signature cone, does most of the work in terms of her being a debuffer / buffer, because like without it she's just a debuffer. With the cone, she can increase your damage dealt, which technically is still a debuff, but you can view it as like a buff for your team if you're attacking the enemy she attacked. And that's what I think mostly keeps her relevant. Because if you have her cone, you can just run her as a... Not necessarily... You don't necessarily have to run her as a auto attack bot, but you can do it with her cone, and she will still provide more value than she would otherwise.
My input, Silver Wolf, I believe, is top S tier, because you can make the argument that Pela with Luka's light cone, whatever it's named, resolution shines as pearls of sweat. You can give that to Silver Wolf and still put out as much defense shred as Pela. And in fact, place out a bit more. And I agree that she is now having a better place with Dr. Ratio, because she herself can apply enough debuffs for Ratio to have a 100% follow-up attack rate.
Okay. Quick question though. For Mono Quantum, is she like EX?
She's necessary. She is
She
necessary.
is necessary.
Okay.
You have to have her.
Cause yeah.
In single target situations, you would not believe how much extra damage her ultimate provides just off of the 45% defense shred alone. We're not even talking about her, I hope, light cone damage increase, because remember, she applies that by doing literally anything, basic, skill, or ultimate. And like, even if you don't have that, you still have her mini bugs that apply every time that she takes an action. So she is invaluable for the team. On top of being able to, well, since it's mono quantum, she can selectively just choose who has a quantum weakness. It's 100% upgrade.
Yeah.
And Silver Wolf, as she is now, is, I think, too unique to where mono quantum teams will never get rid of her.
Yeah. Okay, we're at like an hour now, and we have like 23 characters. So like,
That's fine. It's been
Okay.
fun.
yeah, this is fun. Okay. Luocha, what do you guys think?
He is the most
yes.
he is the most relatable man in the entire game after Penacony. If you know, you know. If you don't, we won't spoil.
I would say EX.
Oh,
I would
wow.
also agree. I would also agree. He provides healing, and he doesn't necessarily have to use skill points for them. He also, much like Pela's skill, removes buffs, but it's on his ultimate.
And it's
Which-
AoE.
Yeah, and he can auto charge it because the heal also, for some reason, provides energy.
Okay, I don't have him, but is it remove all buffs or one?
I believe it's all buffs.
No, it's one buff.
Oh, it's one? Still
One
though.
buff per enemy.
Still though, enemies are not gonna have more than one buff typically.
Yeah. Okay.
But the healing without using skill points, his field that he applies after doing either his ult twice, his heal twice, or a heal and an ult. His field that he applies, legit, your characters aren't dying unless nobody gets a turn. And the buff strip and the freeze skill point generation just sends him up.
I'm not gonna lie, I skipped this man in 1.1 in favor of Silverwolf because I really like that character. I'm very sorry, I have preferences, but I still don't regret skipping him, even though he's so good. And I respect this man though. I like luocha a lot, but I don't intend to pull for him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious on your
Yukong.
opinions on Yukong. I'm very curious.
Where should we start? Hey, Norland, you wanna take this one, buddy?
I'm gonna say C tier, to be honest,
Okay. Yeah.
because her buffing is so situational, and not only that, but she is eating skill points. Like there is no way in heck that she's gonna be ever using her basic attack. She's always gonna be skilling or ulting.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, she is barely usable on E6, and that says a lot. So, I know Yukong is free, but like for the love of God, please just roll for Tingyun. It'll make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, okay, because I have seen like a bunch of E6 like Yukong. Like I've heard a bunch of people coping saying that E6 Yukong is like really good. But the only like the main problem about her is like for her buff, like you need to cast her E. Because if you just basic attack with her, then there's no point in not even having her on the field.
No, that's not even the problem. The problem is that you have to tailor her speed to be specific to the team you are running, because she has to move directly before the DPS character. Which means if you were to swap the DPS character, their speeds are not necessarily going to be in sync, so you would have to tweak her even more to work with that other team.
And to the comment of people saying that she is good at E6, E6 only bumps her up to B tier. She is not better than Tingyun.
No, I said she was barely usable at E6. I never said she was good.
Well, I was mostly commenting on what Crimson said about how so many people have been saying that at E6 she's good. But her E4 only gives, when her passive is activated, everybody, or actually, it's not even everybody, it's just Vaughn that gets this buff. When Roaring Bowstrings, her buff, I believe, when that is active, she herself gives a 30% damage bonus to all enemies. It's just herself. So the only buff that she's really applying is a 40% attack increase.
I think the saddest part is that her best asset is her technique, which just lets you zoom around at breakneck speed in the overworld, and that's like the only thing I maybe use her for.
And the crit rate and crit damage bonus that she can give is only if her buff is active, and when she uses her ultimate, it additionally increases their crit rate and crit damage, but it goes away after that buff goes away. So really, it's only a one-time buff.
I mean, I didn't really think about it too much when she released, but now, at this current moment, I'm just kind of wondering what were they cooking? Like, usually Star Rail's character designs are peak, except when they're not, which are like with 3 characters, 4 maybe, if you want to get technical.
Yeah, the main.
But usually their designs are really good, and Yukong wasn't even in the original cast, because most of the bad characters that got released were in the original cast.
Yeah, the main problem, the main thing is just like she takes too many skill points for her buff, which is like mid, which is like below mid actually. So with like other characters like Ruan Mei who have like 3 turns for their buff, and like I don't know, just like other characters who just like have their buffs like last longer, I think there's just like no point for Yukong. Plus,
I'm gonna be honest, I think Yukong would have had a better reputation if instead of Tingyun in 1.0, she was the character that released instead of Tingyun, and then we got Tingyun in what was it, 1 point something?
Yeah, like
When did she release? 1.4?
1.2.
1.2?
1.2?
Yeah, because Blade and Kafka were 1.3, I believe. Wait, no, this was 1.1. Blade and Kafka were 1.2. Donghun Il.
No, it was 1.1. It was actually 1.1. She released with luocha.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I think she would have had a much better reputation if she released instead of Tingyun, and then Tingyun came later.
Yeah. Okay, Blade.
Blade, I say he's like... Why not? I say he's S tier. You can fight me on it. Go ahead.
I think it's debatable.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I think it's debatable.
I'd agree.
I don't think he's... The only thing is, I don't think he's EX just because of 1, better damage dealers, 2, I don't know. I just think there's better damage. It's not that he's bad. It's just better damage, and like I don't know. I think there's just better characters.
The thing is, he's good, but you have to run him with like someone else. You either have to have a single target damage dealer to deal with his one weakness, which is single target enemies, because he's good into AoE occasions, or you have to run him with like another DPS such as Jingliu to like really go in hard on the AoE damage. He's good. He's really good. You can run him as your hyper carry damage dealer, but that's just not his best job, even though he's really good at it.
So, the argument that I could say that puts him in EX is that he can solo content because of how much survivability he has.
That too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that one.
But, the content is getting to the point where it's not very good to solo with, but he has enough survivability in his kit to survive a lot of hits, even himself hurting himself.
Yeah. I don't know. I think also the content's shifting more towards like bursts of damage instead of. I think nukes are also like pretty viable, but I think for at least now it's more of like charging up a big attack and then like letting it rip instead
The thing that makes him really good though is he doesn't use skill points past like the first one for like I think 3 turns.
Correct.
And you can, and obviously I don't have to explain why that's good. You can just allocate skill points on whatever else you need. He'll just attack for free, and his survivability is, like Nolan said, very nice.
Yeah.
I will also say that he does have a kind of charging up factor to it. So, whenever he takes hits, it charges up something called, where is it? It charges up a tally depending on how much of Blade's HP has been lost. And it doesn't matter if he heals it at all, it will still keep that tally. The only time it resets is when he uses his ultimate. And that tally caps at 90% of his max HP.
Wait.
So it can become a nuke kind of deal.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. At first I thought you were talking about his like his charge up thing with his. I think is it 5 stacks, where if he like takes damage or does like an attack, it charges up. His
That's his follow-up attack. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about that, but I didn't know that.
No.
So that's cool.
He has something built in with his ult, where depending on how much HP he's lost, it deals bonus damage.
True. Okay, we can move on to Kafka now.
Kafka, I would say. Oh, you're gonna hate me for this, but I don't think she's EX tier. I
Actually,
think she's S tier.
okay. Wait.
And here's why. So, Dot team is comprised of like pretty much 3 sub DPS characters and a sustain. She's not the one doing damage. She is the one proccing the damage, but most of the damage actually comes from the other dots. So like, she's just the driver in that scenario. She has some personal damage, but it's,
Like okay, so her main thing is exploding dots, right? So
Yeah.
for Black Swan, she puts on. Let's picture the scenario. You Black Swan E them, right? And then the Black Swan E doesn't initially do as much damage, right? But it's mostly like, it's mostly Black Swan's Arcana that also like does some damage. But Kafka can explode Black Swan's E, which deals it. Well, it doesn't do a significant amount. It does do, it does do a lot. Like not a lot, but like it's pretty sizable. So
yeah, well, no. That's why I said she's a good driver. But like in that scenario, most of the damage is coming from Black Swan herself, right?
It comes from it comes from dots. It comes from her Arcana stacks. But also I think just if you didn't have Kafka, then I think dots is just kind of
without Kafka, dots aren't runnable, and that's just a well-known fact. You're gonna have to accept that. But I don't know. Like I can see her being EX tier. I personally don't. I don't think she's worthy of it because it's not her doing what she's doing. It's the team doing the damage for the most part. I don't know. What do you think, Norman?
So I would say low EX tier.
okay.
Because again, she is needed for the dot team. She is the main focus because she can detonate dots without getting rid of them. But the thing that really makes her broken is because of Black Swan.
Yeah, like there's a reason why she's suddenly top of the meta while she was just okay before Black Swan.
Yes. And she can apply like multiple dots herself. Because she has her follow-up that applies shock, her ultimate applies shock, and if you have her light cone, also applies shock whenever she attacks. So she has multiple ways to apply shock. It's just that she really wants other dot characters like.
As someone who doesn't have Kafka, I need to ask: do her shock sources stack
I believe so.
on one another? On one another.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, I think I'm 99% sure. But yeah, okay. The main reason I also just put her in EX just because, like, she's pretty much usable like pretty much everywhere. She's usable in Pure Fiction. She's usable in MOC. She's like pretty much usable like everywhere.
True.
Yeah. So I mean that's mostly why I put her in EX. Also, she needs Black Swan, but also I think you can run her with like Gwenifin. Like you can run her with Gwenifin, you can run her with Luka.
I mean, technically you will run her with Glenacon.
Yeah.
Literally, the main team that I've been using with Kafka is.
Let me guess.
Luocha.
Hold on. Let me guess. It's Luocha, it's Kafka, Gwenifin, and it's Black Swan.
Correct.
Ding ding ding.
But before Black Swan, I was actually using luocha, luka, sampo, kafka.
I need to ask you something. Why would you use Luka?
Buff removal on his skill, and he applies vulnerability on his ult.
I
Okay.
mean, I don't know. I just don't see it. It's like he's just one of those characters that I saw and I was like, yeah, okay, you exist. Moving on.
Okay. Yes.
Well, the thing is, he can also trigger his own bleed dot or any bleed dot on the enemy.
Yeah, but would you run him over other dot sources? Is my question.
Depending on the situation. If the enemy is weak to physical, I would run Luka over Gwenifin.
So where would you place him?
Yeah.
To be honest, I would say high B, low A.
I don't really want to say anything to this because like I don't know. I understand how how Luka works. I just don't see the appeal in this kid. So I'm just gonna turn the mic over to someone who actually has experience using him.
Yeah.
The reason why I say high B, low A is because he's very constrained to single target. Because you look at Gwenifin, you look at Sampo, you look at Black Swan, you look at Kafka, they all have AoE potential.
And that's my main
For their
point.
dots.
Is like you're running
Luka
dots,
is
so you're always
single target.
you always want to do AoE with dots, right? So that was my main point
You
for.
do do
Oh,
want to
luka.
spread them around like wildfire, but
Q the
when you're
theme.
dealing with when you're dealing with a boss type character, you do kind of want a single target, at least at some point.
Yeah, I can see it, but he's situational.
Yeah, I would say his situation.
I personally would always run Ginnafen over him, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I think the vulnerable on his ult is... What is vulnerable, like damage or defense reduction? Or...
So the defense reduction is off of his cone,
Oh, okay.
but he removes buffs, and he removes buffs on his skill while also applying bleed, which is another dot. And whenever the enemy has bleed and you have 2 stacks of fighting will, it will trigger that dot.
Okay.
Depending on how many times he punches.
So does vulnerable like make them take more, like on his ultimate, because it applies vulnerable? Is it just more damage taken?
So yes,
Okay.
on his ult he will apply a vulnerability debuff.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm curious about Danheng IL, because I could just go on stage right now and be like, okay, bro, he's EX tier, his damage is one of the highest in the game, and be done with it. But also, he takes 3 skill points, which yes, you can manage, but Sparkle, like with the most skill point hungry teams, is his bread and butter. So like obviously with Sparkle he is EX, but I'm kind of wondering standalone. I feel like we move him to S tier, or do we just keep him in EX because he has really high damage? That's like barely comparable.
Yeah.
I would say standalone S tier, but if he's ran with Sparkle, that would bump him up to EX.
So that's what I'm asking. Where do we put him? Do we keep him in S tier, or do we bump him up to EX? Because like with Kafka, we did take into consideration that she would be having multiple dots, so it's kind of like setup-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree. I think we could put him in EX.
Because of the Sparkle release.
Yeah.
Like I would say if they have team members with capabilities that increase their usefulness, I would say we would include them. Otherwise, usually, I would say try and focus on their standalone benefits.
So,
Yeah.
what does that mean for qingque and clara? Because Clara's better with Topaz, and qingque is also better with Sparkle.
QQ needs, okay, in my opinion, I think QQ needs like at least E4, maybe E6 for her to function. So I think putting her into A tier is pretty well. And
I would say they don't change.
yeah. Well, and
because even if you have Topaz with Clara, it's only a little bit more damage. And for Qingque with Sparkle, it is also a little bit more damage and a advance forward, but you are still using a lot of skill points,
which Sparkle will provide, because remember you can use her technique anywhere because it's a field bonus.
But not only that, but with Sparkle, you need a lot of energy regen if you're gonna be running Qingque.
Yeah, you know that S2 bronya cone that I have? Yeah, that paid off.
oh my gosh.
Well, not everybody has an S2 bronya cone now, do they?
Sure.
But literally, you need to be popping her ult a lot with qingque. Because once you do the combo, you have maybe another combo left to do before you're out of skill points, or you're out of skill points. And Sparkle doesn't have her ult. So either Sparkle needs to be hella fast, or she needs a lot of energy regen.
Yeah.
I can see it, yeah.
Also,
Okay, so Xuan, easiest EX ever.
yeah.
It's not even close. She's the best character in the game. I stand by it. You can fight me on it. I will fight back.
I agree. But quickly though, going back to Dongheng Il real quick, I think he outputs just way more damage than Clara and QQ, so that's why I feel like EX. But TLDR for Dongheng Il is just with Sparkle, he's EX, and without Sparkle, he's just S here. But I'm pretty sure if you have Dongheng Il, you pulled Sparkle. So that's where that's where I'm gonna leave it at. But we can go on to Fushuan now.
So reasons why Fushuan is great. Her E does everything. Her field. It reduces your damage to negligible numbers. Like you don't feel it most of the time. Her ultimate heals slightly, but it's an AoE that doesn't deal that much damage. What it does do is replenish her passive stats, which when she's 50% HP or lower, she'll consume one of them stacks and heal herself back to full. So essentially, while you have Fushuan, you don't need another sustain unit because she won't die, and in turn, your team will not die.
Literally, the first character that's gonna die is Fushuan most of the time.
True.
Yeah, but
And my only comment with Fushuan, because she is EX tier, she turns the game into easy mode. That's it.
Yeah. It's pretty much like you just don't die. I think it's pretty much what Buster said. It's just like you don't die, you heal your teammates. Yeah, then most of the attacks like are focused towards you. So she's busted, and she's solo sustained, which is
maybe I'm giving her a little bit more credit than she deserves. But I think it's important to mention that I do have a light cone, so I'm getting my entire team healed by 80% of her HP every wave. So it's a little bit easier for me, but I don't think I don't think her cone matters. Her kit is so good, I think she's still EX tier, regardless.
I was about to add in that her cone does not matter.
yeah. I was gonna say that too.
Because the cone that I'm running on Fushuan is called Day 1 of My New Life. Increases the wearer's defense by 24%, and after entering battle, increases all type resistance to all allies. So it makes the numbers that are already negligible more negligible.
Yeah, I'm using Landau's Choice on my Fushuan, and she's just insane.
Oh, you're forcing him to hit Fushuan. That's a
Yeah.
good idea. That's a very smart move. I'll give you that.
Just because I don't have the
I
icon.
actually don't agree with the Landau's Choice being used on Fushuan.
Okay.
Because, sure, she already takes no damage, but in order for the damage to be even less, she kind of doesn't want to be the one to be hit.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, yeah, but it is an alternative. It is
It is
runnable.
an alternative.
Yeah. Plus, I think if you're like, I don't know, weird build, but if you use Landau's Choice and Energy Recharge, then I think those probably already cancel out. It's not optimal, but I mean, it's just an idea. Okay, we can move on to Lynx.
TLDR, if you're playing this game, for the love of God, roll for Fushuan.
Real.
Lynx.
So Lynx, I would argue A tier, and here's why.
Okay.
She has very decent heals. Her ult is an AoE heal, but even more importantly, her ult is a cleanse. And I mean, that's kind of the only thing she does, but she does it well. She's kind of like Natasha on crack, but actually usable.
Yeah.
I would argue S tier.
Would you now?
Yes.
State your argument.
Reason
Let's
why.
hear it.
Reason why is because when you use her skill, her healing skill, on a destruction or preservation unit, they are actually more likely to be targeted because of that.
I forgot about that part. It's so incredibly specific, no one's gonna ever remember it. But it is a thing she does.
Basically, it can make your tank actually do their job. And actually tank.
Or if you're running clara tingyun is still gonna get hit because fuck logic.
True.
Well, if you're running Clara, that's even better because she gets a heal while being able to be targeted. So that's my reason for arguing for S tier. Is because
But yeah, note the
she
size.
allows, yeah, she allows the enemy or the tanks to actually do their job.
Yeah. I'm more of an A tier person, just because I feel like, okay, main reason, I do like the cleanse. The AoE cleanse is huge. What else? The only reason why I'm hesitant to put it in S is because, one, I think preservation and destruction is super specific, and it's really specific, and it's just like, there's I don't know, I don't think there's enough, okay, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's just I think it's really specific to use her for that purpose, and I don't at least for me, at least for my account, I don't have destruction characters or anything like that, so that's why I put it in A.
Another
remembered
argument.
something.
Okay, sure.
I just remembered something. So, she also has a passive where if a target with survival response, that's the buff that is applied, after a target is with that buff is hit, Lynx regens energy.
And that's
So
all
you
well
get-
and good, but
So she
I
gets
can
her
see why
ult
she's S
back.
tier. Low key, I can see why she's S tier. But personally, if you look at what we have in S tier, it's Blade, Silverwolf, Pela, Yuan more or less, but he's good now, and then Bronya. They all do so much more than Lynx would do if we put her in S tier. Lynx is one of those characters where it's she's high A, she's maybe A+, but she's not S. But we don't have an A+ tier.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, so high A would definitely be a good median.
I think she's
Yeah.
below Tingyun, but
I would agree.
Yeah,
Definitely.
below Tingyun, because Tingyun does so much as well.
yeah. Okay.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh my
Microphone.
gosh.
EX.
Yeah. Should we explain
Guys,
or no?
guys, what if I told you she has the highest damage in every piece of content in the entire game?
Bro,
I'd believe it.
who cooked? Who cooked with this, bro? I need to know.
Dude, hear me out. At least she's hot.
True. Dude, imagine if it was a husbando doing that much damage. Oh my
Dude,
god.
I'd be down for it. I mean,
That's
why not?
that's Don Hung, but that's whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
That's literally gonna Topaz. Can you let me have this and put it?
Yeah. EX. Well, okay. Okay, the thing is, dude, top of S tier.
Name a follow-up character that she doesn't work with.
Okay, that's the thing. She works up with that. I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying S for now. In the future, EX. Reason why is because I feel like we're obviously gonna get more if speaking of Jade, if we get Jade, then she's gonna be insane with Jade. But I think just for now though she's S. But I think in the future she can go up to EX like 100% because her buff on follow attack characters is crazy.
Counter argument: she's the most skill point efficient character in the game, bar none, because you don't have to use her skill necessarily because she applies her mark automatically. That mark increases follow-up damage by 50% for anyone that hits that target, and most of the time, unless you just really need that mark on some other enemy, which is gonna be rare, she is just a free +1 in skill points, and she just passively does her job just by including her there. If you have her cone, then she does actual good damage. Like, she out DPS's Seal very easily, which, again, that's not really hard to do these days, but for a character that's meant to be a sub-DPS, dealing that much damage is, I feel, worthy of EX, especially since we're putting characters in EX that have very high value on their own. I feel like Topaz very easily fits that description. Okay,
but another thing though, do we know how her mark like works? Like how does someone get the mark?
Yes, we do. It's random. It's random unless there's a fire weak enemy. Then it's more likely to apply on the fire weak enemy.
Okay.
But even so, you can just choose to attack the marked enemy and then have Numbi follow up anyway, and most of the time it'll kill. And if it doesn't, you dealt damage to them, or you could alternatively just use a skill point and put it on the target that you want it on. But most of the time it will land on the target that it's supposed to be on, because the UI looks to favor Topaz's passives, and one of her passives is that she just deals more damage to fire weak enemies.
Yeah. Norlan, you have opinions?
I do. I believe that she is high S tier because she does enable follow-up attacks, and her ult upgrades her follow-up attack essentially. Her cone, specifically, just to put into perspective, her cone definitely ups her damage, but if the mark goes to a lesser enemy, those stacks that her cone gives will reset when that enemy dies. So you basically have lost all that damage bonus.
Yeah, but I mean, if it kills the enemy, it goes to a different enemy anyway, and if it's another lower enemy, Numbi's just gonna kill it anyway. So, worst case scenario, you're getting 2 kills. Best case scenario, or like, I don't know if I would call it a best case scenario, but like, you're just dealing damage to them, getting a damage buff, and then Numbi uses that damage buff. But I can see where you're going with this. Again, I am very biased, and both of you know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
she's good, but I don't think she's, like, Xuan level good, Jingliu good. Like, I don't think she's that level yet.
Yeah. She's very future-proof, and I think when we get more characters and we get more things, then I think she's easily going to be EX here, but I think for now she's pretty, like, she's good. She's just, like, not EX good yet.
You know what? I'll just take that. I'll just take that S rank placement and then go cry about it later. But you know what? Or whatever. It makes sense.
I will also say her animations are nothing to write home about either.
Dude, what are you, Tectone? Who the fuck complains about animations?
I like to see cool things whenever I'm doing stuff with her.
I mean, true, but like, I don't know. I don't mind her animations. Again, I am biased, so I can kind of understand.
Okay.
Maybe when you use her skill, instead of Topaz throwing her up, or throwing Numby up, and Numby going into his actual follow-up attack, what if during that spin, instead Numby actually spins sideways like a Beyblade?
Dude,
That would-
you know what would
that
have been
would be
cool?
Alternatively,
Just to change it.
alternatively, I think they did the follow-up attack pretty good, but I think they kind of screwed up the cinematic angle of the hit.
Yeah. Okay, what I would recommend though.
Like, imagine if instead she spins Numby and then throws it up. What if she lets Numby free and then Numby runs around her, and then gets closer to the enemy and then sends a tornado their way, because of like it keeps like running in the air. I don't know.
No, you know what would have been
Like,
cool? I feel like okay, sorry. But for her Numby's follow-up attack, or I feel like, you know how she like calls on her headset and then he like goes up? I think would have been cooler for like a follow-up attack animation is she uses the headset, Numby comes like falling from the sky and he just like does the same animation, but there's like Numby just like falls like from above her. So like she's like in the middle of the screen and she's like tapping on her like little thingy on the side, and then Numby comes like just crashing down like onto the enemy.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. I want that change. I
Like
take it back. I want that change.
I don't know, like it could be like from a plane, or it could just be coming from the sky, or I don't even know.
I mean, Numby can portal around, so...
One of the things I appreciate with Star Rail is they're not afraid to meme.
Like, dude, like imagine a pig just like flying at you like at full speed and just like crashing down on you. Like that'd be funny.
Wait, I just thought of a good idea. What if they just full on did the portal falling thing? Like, portal on the ground, portal up in the air, jump in, starts falling at hyper speed, and then a portal appears right in front of the enemy and just bop! Like a bullet, essentially.
It's so funny.
And then Numby one-shots herself.
Yeah, it's just Numby dies.
Okay, so Ginnifen, you know what? All of the good fire characters are A tier. I say we put her A tier too.
Yeah.
Naturally, that's not the only reason why I'm saying that. I'm saying it because when she uses her AoE, she applies Fire Kiss, and Fire Kiss makes her a pseudo buffer because it increases damage taken by enemies afflicted by Fire Kiss.
See, that was my argument for when I found to be S tier. Because it enables more damage. And it stacks as well.
I can see it, but also, are you using Gneifen outside of a dot team? Because
Most likely not, because buffers will easily fill that role better.
yeah, because I was kind of thinking, wouldn't Asta be more suited for S tier, considering she raises your speed, and she also does give you it is a fire buff, but she gives you speed and a buff.
Yeah.
And,
But-
you know, we kept her in A tier, so I think it's pretty fair for Ginnifen to be at the same tier she is.
Yeah, that's true.
Bobo, put her up there, EX tier.
Okay.
When a character can cleanse your whole team every turn, you know something's wrong. And also, she's basically 5-star tingyun, but also a healer. So you're filling two slots in your team with like one character.
Yeah.
In the words of Mr. Pokey, is pretty good. She can actually sustain genuinely.
Respectfully.
Genuinely. She is pretty good. She could actually sustain a team on her own. You do need to use a skill point. But on her ult, she gives a attack and
that's
energy
fine, right?
bonus.
Because here's what's gonna happen. Either you're running her on 4-piece healing, which is gonna give you that extra skill point, so you can use it turn 1 if need be. Or you're using her on the speed set, which because she has speed in her ascending substats, she will most likely have 2 turns in like 1 cycle.
To be honest, I would actually argue you want her slower than everybody else. Because her healing goes based off of how many turns she has had. Because one of the stacks goes away at the beginning of her turn.
Oh. See, I still need to pull for Ho-Ho. I still need to pull for Ho-Ho. I am begging God right now that I get Ho-Ho.
Okay, see, I thought you would build her slower for a different reason. Just because of if the enemy attacked first, like if the enemy attacks before Ho-Ho, then Ho-Ho is able to just like heal and cleanse the debuffs. But I could also see that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is mostly because her heal goes off of how many turns she has started. And you automatically get a stack at the beginning of the battle.
So she goes by Ruan Mei logic. Got it.
Yeah. Like, Ruan Mei, if you're not able to use her technique, obviously you want her faster. But if you're able to use her technique, you actually want her slower. Anyways, Argenti.
Oh boys, look, it's Duke.
Okay. I'm thinking S. I'm thinking S and probably like I'm gonna put him below Jingyuan.
Dude, I also think he's S tier. My one grievance with him is that he's painfully boring.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'd rather use any other character over him because his gameplay is so incredibly boring, but that's just my take.
In single target fights, he really falls off. But that's what his double ultimate is supposed to make up for. But other than that, he's just a really good AoE DPS.
Also, another problem with him, you notice how all of the top tier characters have some leeway with them to where you can run them with all kinds of different characters. With Argenti, that's not the case. You're either running him hyper carry or you're going home.
Yeah, he's strictly DPS. I think his team's also pretty niche too. Does he use Hanya? I'm pretty sure he uses Hanya.
He can. It's not the best choice anymore, but he can.
I have not been using Hanya.
Wait, what do you use for his team?
Let me look real quick.
Cause he's like one of the rare erudition characters who don't follow up attack, which is
So I run Luocha, Ruan Mei, Bronya, Argenti.
Oh, okay.
Because
on the topic of erudition, I know I didn't ask this before, but I need to know if anyone knows why qingque is erudition, because erudition is supposed to be like the AoE type. But here's the deal.
her ult AoEs.
I mean, yeah, sure, her ult's AoE, but like her main damage ability, which is her skill, is a blast. So I feel like she's kind of a destruction character more so, right?
Well, the whole thing with destruction characters is that they're sacrificing something for them to deal more damage. Like,
Yeah, she's sacrificing skill points.
that is true. I mean, that's kind of what Imbibitor Lune is doing, is sacrificing skill points to do more damage. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the answer to your question is because she's a 4-star. Personally, I think
Maybe.
just because.
I mean,
yeah.
come to think of it, the only 4-star that's actual destruction that we have is oddly Hook.
And Shui.
Actually,
Oh, Shui too. Right, she's here.
To be honest, she's kind of more erudition, in my opinion. Even though her follow-up attack is like
Well-
really like inconsistent, I mean it attacks everyone. I think.
Her follow-up attack really only, I think it only deals damage to the last people who are attacked for weakness depletion. Because I have tried using Shui, but she we'll talk more about her when we get to her.
Okay.
Anywho, Hanya.
Hanya.
Last time, I think I don't remember. I don't remember if we gave her B or A. However,
Ooh.
it is notable that she does increase speed, and that she for every two skills or like attacks in general, she restores one skill point, which is useful, and her ultimate also buffs attack. So I think while I do think she is good, the one thing that's holding her back is that her buff is tied to her ultimate. So I'd say, like, I don't know, she's like between A and B, but she is a good character nonetheless.
Yeah, she debuffs on her E and then she buffs on her Q, I believe. Is she ran with like any teams? I thought it was Argenti, but
I mean, you can run her, it's just because Harmony characters are so insanely broken, people just opt to run the best Harmony characters, so she doesn't really have a spot to shine, even though she is good.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say B tier as well.
I don't. Yeah, I
I
think.
Because
I would argue top of B tier. I feel like she has that something. I don't like maybe low A tier, but I would argue with just top of B tier for now.
I think B tier. I don't know. There probably will be a time where she shines, but I think for at least now, she's B tier. Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, it's that one Harmony character that does fucking everything.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Huh,
Here
oh,
we
man,
go.
I wonder where she goes.
Yeah,
Here we go. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, the better question to ask with Roland May is what doesn't she do? Okay, so she gives percentage damage, she increases break bar damage, which is a very hard thing to change, might I add. She gives all type resistance penetration, she delays turns, and it also counts as a debuff. What does she not do? Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah. I mean, that's the TLDR. I mean, she's just insanely busted. Literally enables your DPS characters to do even more damage. I think she enables pretty much everyone, to be honest. There's like no synergy that she doesn't have. She works for dots. She works for like just everything, so yeah.
She's very versatile.
You know, when she released, I was going to skip her, but a friend of mine forced me to roll for her against my will, and I'm very thankful that he did.
Yeah, she's insane. Okay, we can move on to Shui now.
A or S?
S.
A tier.
Yeah, I probably, yeah.
Yeah, A tier sounds right. It's just a part of me for some reason thinks she's maybe S tier worthy. I can't explain why exactly, but I think she's just kind of really good. So like,
Oh,
while I do agree with A tier, for some reason my consciousness is saying, oh, put her in S tier, but like low S tier.
I will have to try using her again with Eidolons, but I did try her at E0 and her damage wasn't that much to write home about. But E1 increases her follow-up attack damage. E2 actually allows her to heal a little bit off of her follow-up attack. And also, the follow-up will ignore follow-up type, or toughness weakness type. The same way her ult does. After she uses her ultimate, her break effect increases by 40%. And then E6 is her stack limit to do the follow-up is reduced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what mainly hinders her from being like S tier is her being like also her being a 4-star.
I think her passive, where every additional percent of break effect past a certain point counts as additional percentage damage dealt, is very interesting.
It's up to 240. It's like, on paper, it's insane.
Yeah.
But I've tried running her with I can't remember how much break effect I actually had on her, but I had tried running her with the Moles Welcome You to give mischievous stacks. I'll try again once I have her Eidolons and On the Fall of an Eon fully leveled up.
By the way, can we take a moment to appreciate how HSR devs took a seemingly useless stat on launch and actually made it viable with Ruan Mei Shuai and whatnot.
Yeah, and Gallagher.
And I guess Gallagher too, yeah?
Yeah.
But we'll get to him.
Because from what it looks like, Gallagher is probably going to also scale on break effect.
Yeah. Okay. Last character before Pentagon.
Okay, he is him. He is coming.
Okay.
The ratio.
Where do you guys put him?
Legally, you are not allowed to hate this man. He's just too base.
I mean,
He's a walking JoJo reference. This man is just a perfect character. I'm sorry.
I love how,
Simping session finished. He's EX.
Okay.
yeah, I would say as a free-to-play character, he is definitely EX.
Oh yeah, guys, he's free to play. Genshin could never. I will keep saying that till the day I die.
The funniest thing is that people are hating on him because he was racist to Aventurine.
Who cares?
Literally,
Who cares?
it's a fictional character. Hey guys, remember when the entirety of Genshin community started hating the unreleased Archon, by the way, because they figured out she wasn't black? Like, my brother, who cares?
Like, oh my gosh, bro, they'll do anything, bro. Like, bro, honestly, just for like the memories itself that this character came with, he's already EX. But
but like, I feel like that argument can be made for anything. Okay, bro, Aventurine, I hate him because he's not black. End of story. I think everyone should hate him for it, you know?
I just hate him because he's sassy.
The usual Genshin player response.
Bro, like
But
this.
that's the thing too, because they were also hating on Sparkle about it because of her being a little racist.
Okay, but
But even then, that's what makes a good villain.
I think it makes sense for her to be racist. Honestly, I support her being racist. I don't support racism, but I support her being racist. Because it makes sense for the plot.
Because what makes a villain a good villain is there's a reason why you hate them. It's not because they want to take over the world. No, it's because something in their personality makes you hate them.
I mean, she is unhinged personified, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Another thing about ratio, this man shook up not just he didn't just L+ratio the Genshin community, he L+ratioed the entire gacha game space. It takes it takes a certain something to do that.
Okay, also real quick though, I wanted to add for like the racism thing. I just think I don't think if villains should just be villains, straight up. I don't think there should be any redeemable. I think they can be redeemable if you wanted to make them redeemable, but I think if a villain is a villain, then they should just stay a villain. There doesn't have to be a redeemable part about them every single time like Genshin. Genshin makes every single villain redeemable somehow. Like, and at least in Star Rail, there's, you know, I at least not yet. I don't think Sparkle's redeemable yet, but I mean,
But like Genshin's a game for children. I'm sorry, but it's true.
it is.
I mean, there is a way for Sparkle to actually like come with us. It's because how elation works. So elation is basically just causing chaos for the fun of it. 'Cause why not? And that type of chaos could be anything.
Honestly, being a little crazy doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person.
Exactly.
And to be honest,
You could be, like, if we're looking at the alignment chart kind of deal, like, neutral good, neutral evil, chaotic good, all of that, I think Sparkle probably will fall into chaotic neutral.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because she is in it for her own personal gain.
But, I mean, I can kind of see it, mostly because I think my personality is also chaotic neutral, and most of my friends agree on it, which is why I'm inclined to believe it.
Anyways,
So
back to-
I can kind of see where they're coming from with this. I think, honestly, I don't even know what to think. Anyway, moving on with
back
the
to
tour.
Decoration.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, wait. Did we even talk about his gameplay?
Based mathematician.
I think everyone
we all need an
knows.
education from him. End of story.
Yeah, I think everyone knows. He just like attacks based off of debuffs. More debuffs, more damage. Run him with Silver Wolf. You win the game. GG.
Exactly.
He increases his own crit rating, crit damage based on how many debuffs they have, and they never go away either.
Yep.
And the more debuffs they have, the more damage he does. And on top of that, he applies a effect resistance lower to the enemy, so you can apply more debuffs.
Okay. We can move on.
Okay, so last time when we were predicting where Black Swan was gonna go, I think I was spot on with giving her S tier.
Yeah.
I don't think she's EX, mostly because she kind of depends on Kafka, and by that logic, Kafka is the one being EX, even though Black Swan is the one doing most of the damage. I think
Yeah,
they were
but-
just made for one another, but one is clearly better than the other. You know?
I
Okay.
would agree that standalone Black Swan is not that good, but she is good because she can lower defense with her skill.
Okay.
But the whole thing is for her to be actually broken, she kinda needs Kafka.
Yeah. Okay. My take on it is, I think they both need each other. However, I think Kafka has less of a dependency on Black Swan than Black Swan does on Kafka.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I could see that, but in my opinion, I think you need both of them for dots. You don't need, but it's pretty essential. Like, you're losing out on a lot of damage if you don't have Black Swan. So, for that's why I was gonna put her in EX, is just because she has defense reduction as well. She has Epiphany. It just makes your character do more damage. I don't even need
Yeah,
it.
but she's one of those characters that's good because she's dependent on another character.
Well, yeah, and she just boosts dots damage. Like, she boosts dot damage completely. But I think, like, she's not completely dependent on dot as an archetype, so that's probably why, like, that's mostly why she's an S tier. But yeah,
And
but
not only that, but it is a team building game.
true.
So if you have a bunch of characters that want buffers, that's kind of just one type of team. Whereas enable dot team, there's L+ratio and topaz, which enables the follow-up team. And then you got AoEs and all of that. So really, Kafka coming out was basically the start of diversifying, but Black Swan solidified Dot's placement in actually being a team.
Also, I know it's a minor thing, but Kafka's existence allows for people to play the nihility path in simulated universe, because otherwise it's not very usable.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Okay. Sparkle.
Okay, time for the show to begin, boys. Who wants to go first?
You can go first, since I know you have a lot to say about her.
Yeah.
I love this character so much. She clowns around and she's insane. She knows she's insane and she uses it to to the fullest capacity. When it comes to her kit, oh boy, I thought bronya was never gonna get power prep, and here I am like a month later. So her skill, it boosts up your it advances you forward by 50% first and foremost. Then it gives you crit damage, a flat amount. I think it's 45% plus a percentage of her crit damage to an ally, which, like I said, lasts until the end of the turn, like end of the cycle. I mean, as for her ultimate, I don't know who cooked, but whoever said give her 4 skill points on her ultimate was 1, insane, and 2, incredibly based. She kind of solves the issue of skill points for any team ever, but she's not the best support necessarily in every team, which is fine, because whenever she was very clearly made for Quantum, which is reflected by your third passive, which increases your team's attack in general, but then it also increases the attack of your party depending on the amount of Quantum characters you have. So, I mean, yeah, I think this is like a perfect character release, low-key. And I think it's also funny that all of the things that Ruan doesn't do, Sparkle covers for. So basically, you're not going to run them in the same team, but let's say hypothetically you run them in the exact same team. You have every buff known to man in 2 characters.
Yep.
Normally, you want to go before I talk?
So, the 4th passive definitely the 3rd passive incentivizes mono-quantum because it is quantum-type allies, so her herself does not count towards that passive. But her ultimate, giving 4 skill points, but also enhances her passive to give more damage.
Yeah, because it increases the damage based on the amount of skill points that are used during like
and it goes,
a cycle.
It goes to the entire team as well.
But one thing I did forget to mention is, oh boy, I've been advocating for Quantum Harmony since Silver Wolf's released in 1.1, and thank God she released. I am very happy. Carry on.
So that damage can go upwards to, as I said before, basically 48%. But the crit damage bonus is basically what writes home her buffing capabilities, because it's a flat 24% and 45% of Sparkle's crit damage. So if you have, like, let's say 220% crit damage on Sparkle. She is basically giving an extra 100% crit damage for free to whatever ally.
Yeah.
And whenever she uses her basic attack, if you somehow don't have a skill point to spend, she actually regens 10 more energy.
Holy. Actually, I didn't
Which
know
her ultimate, if I actually look at the cost real quick, is 110. So that's actually pretty close to 10% of her ult.
Yeah. To quickly add, that's like the lowest costing Harmony ult in the game, I believe. Because all the other ones are either like 120 or 130. So hers is being to be honest, it doesn't really make sense to me why it's 110. But I mean, it's kind of huge.
I think they wanted to just tell her skill point gain gimmick to the max, and I feel like it would have been pretty pathetic if they released a character that, you know, gives additional skill points but doesn't have the means to gain the ability to do so.
Yeah. Okay, my quick thoughts are, I pulled her yesterday, so I literally don't even know, like, I haven't really used her extensively yet, but from what I've seen, she looks really good. I'm excited to use her with my Jing Yuan, so he's gonna pop off and be my general. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
By the way, me spawning in right as you were during.
Oh yeah.
That was the funniest thing.
That was crazy, dude. I think you like blessed my pulls. Like, that was actually kind of crazy. But now I'm back at 0 pity. So fun. Okay.
Nisha, discount jingliu, and he's like, and yes, it's a he, by the way. Sorry, folks. I don't know. He's like supposed to be a damage dealer, but he's not the best at it. He tries to freeze, but again, it's like kind of stack based. I don't know. Man.
I've looked over his kit, and honestly, I would say D tier.
Oh wow.
Like
D tier?
Yeah, I would say he's along the lines of Arlan.
Dude, I don't think it's that bad. What do you mean?
Legit, he tries to freeze the enemy and he deals more damage to frozen enemies. If you're going against a boss, he ain't doing shit.
You are right though.
Because he can't freeze a boss.
I didn't take that into consideration, like, at all.
Like, sure, he gets a bunch of bonuses to try and freeze a boss, but I don't see him doing it.
Okay, but is he really yanqing tier? You know, the character that's pretty much disabled enough to not function.
Pretty much, yeah. I would say.
At least put him above them. Do me a favor, at least put him above them.
Okay, the only thing is about Misha, I have seen him used, I think the main purpose that he has is only in Simulated Universe, is from what I've seen.
Which is...
Yeah, but like...
Not a good purpose.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just mainly Simulated Universe showcases, so that's probably why I'm putting him in D tier. I think there's...
Yeah, if your character's whole purpose is just for Simunity, that is not a good purpose.
I will be honest,
Any character can be ran in Simulated Universe.
I wasn't aware that he was that bad.
Yeah. I know there's definitely one person out there who definitely built their Misha, and it's probably like, oh my gosh, my Misha pops off. But like, Dude,
Oh my gosh, my Misha, let's go!
After I spent like 1,000 trailblaze power on it, let's go.
Let's go!
Yeah, but even still, like he just doesn't compete with all these characters.
Dude, look at the silver lining. If you spend so much trailblaze power to build Misha, if you pull Jingliu, she will slap hard.
Yeah, with that type of investment on any character, you can make them much more powerful than Misha ever could.
True. Okay, this is 2.1 characters now. These are just all predictions.
Yeah, this is all speculation.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start off with Akron. This is like the heavy hitter. Where do you guys think?
Hi, Melvin.
I would probably say as high as maybe EX tier.
I'm gonna agree.
From just seeing the kit alone.
I'm gonna be honest. She strikes me as an S character because allegedly she does about the same damage as Jingliu, maybe a little bit more during the ultimate. The problem is the ease of access, because she needs 9 stacks to fully utilize her ulti, which it's like based around debuffs, right? So you need a lot of debuffs to even get to that point. While with Jingliu, all you have to do is really use your skill twice, and she's good to go.
Well, I will add in that according to one of passives that has been speculated, she wants to be ran with more nihility.
Yeah.
Because I think she gets a damage bonus based on how many nihility team members there are.
Yeah. Is it on the ult? I'm pretty
No,
sure.
I think it's just her passive, like one of her passives that does
I
that.
think, for what it's worth, I think that's very interesting because it opens a doorway to run a nihility team that's not just dot.
Yes.
Yeah, like you can run welt and civil war with.
So
Quran.
I honestly love that about her. I'm skipping her because I'm not inherently in love with the Raiden Mei archetype, and she's just kind of height for me. I have better priorities, but hey, good luck to anyone summoning.
It's fine if you ever want to use my Aperon, you can have fun.
Okay, there's speculation. Apparently, there's speculation where you need her light cone in order for her to do good damage. Which,
I mean, you can kind of say that for any
yeah,
character.
but like, apparently it's sizable damage. So,
I mean,
well, I'm more on the side of no. I'm more on the side of like you don't need her light cone, because one, like, why would that just like that? They wouldn't do that because she's like obviously like highly anticipated. I don't think they're gonna just make her like you need her light cone for her to win.
I am of the opinion that if you are pulling for a DPS character, you either get enough J to pull both the character and their light cone, or you just don't pull.
I agree. I think if you have a DPS character, you should 100% have their light cone.
Because back when Blade came out, I remember I wanted him, but I didn't have enough to guarantee his light cone. Well, not guarantee, but like get to the pity, you know, because it's 75%. Thank you, HSR devs. You are a blessing to this world.
I do want to add something in.
Sure.
You don't necessarily need her light cone.
But you want it.
Yeah, you want it, of course. But there is Good Night and Sleep Well, which is a 4-star light cone. For every debuff the target has, the damage dealt increases up to 3 times. Up to 3 debuffs that they have.
Yeah.
Hey,
So...
hey, Nolan? You want to know something funny? Those 3 debuffs, Silver Wolf counters all 3 of them at the same time.
Exactly. So you're already gonna have max debuffs whether Acheron has her debuffs on the target or not.
Guys, Silver Wolf is becoming more meta by the second.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
only, not only that, but this is more towards dot characters. This 5-star lycon, but the herta store one, solitary healing. That one is geared towards dot characters more, but if you're able to break the enemy, which it does give you an increased break effect, that would put a shock dot on them, which means that is more dot damage. But I think if you're not able to pull her own, I'm pretty sure the go-to is gonna be Good Night Sleep Well.
S5.
Either that or welts. Or welts like cone.
I really do want to add, I think at S5 is when Good Night Sleep Well is going to be really good for Acheron. I think you can use it at lower super potions, but S5 is really where like the damage is.
You kind of have to, because the other lycones are more geared for support or dot characters.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so those are the thoughts on Acheron. We can move on to Adventurine.
Okay, Adventurine strikes me as the type of character. You know when you're like thinking of what to do with a character, like in the creation phase, like of their kit. I feel like they wanted him to be like a decent DPS, and then in the middle of production, they were just like, you know what? We need a shielder. So they change his skill to a shield, and then they lower his numbers because he's preservation. That's the vibe I'm getting from him.
Okay, quick question.
Still,
Okay, is he gonna be do you guys think he's gonna be self-sustaining?
I don't think he'll be self-sustaining in like the healing aspect, but I think his shields are probably gonna be enough to like make him not take damage. So in a way, he is sustaining.
Cause my stance.
100%.
Oh, you can go.
100%. If you're running 4-piece Knight of Purity, 100%, he's gonna be self-sustaining with those shields.
Okay.
Because 4-piece Knight of Purity increases the max damage a shield can absorb by 20%.
Oh wow.
And plus, if his shields scale on defense, he's getting a 15% bonus to defense based on just the 2-piece alone.
How troll would it be if they made it a scale on like either attack or HP?
Bruh.
That'd be insane.
Imagine.
If it's HP, those shields are gonna be wild, dog. I don't
Right.
know.
Okay, that's the reason why I asked that question, is because if he is self-sustaining, I'm putting him in EX tier. Okay, because dude, that's just gonna be insane. If he's not though, that lowers his.
I'm kind of wondering if they'll take the attack route because he's supposed to be a damage dealer as well, but like a pseudo damage dealer.
Well, hold on. Let me put this into perspective. Remember Ito from Genshin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know
His
him.
stuff completely scales on defense,
True.
even though he's supposed to be a DPS.
True.
I can see that, but I was kind of wondering if they were willing to pull something goofy on this man, because like I don't know.
I mean,
It would be the best of things, but it would be funny. I could get a kick out of it.
yeah,
I'm-
but there's also the people who actually like him, which honestly I don't agree with those people. But
I'm gonna put it straight, and people are likely to hate me on this again. I think he's the least likable character out of any of the ones we've met so far.
Agree.
it definitely makes it seem that way. Yeah.
He's not a villain. However, I don't think he's a villain. He is.
He's
I don't
He's
think.
not a villain. He's just a dick.
Yeah, he's more
just
like a.
incredibly arrogant.
He's more like an
He's the
anti-hero. That's what I'm
He's the
getting.
type of guy to, like, show up at a party in like a sports car and be like, "Oh yeah, I have money. You want to take a ride with me?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Basically,
He's just kind
just a
of.
rich snob.
Yeah. He's just so annoying. Like, but yeah.
Always gets what he wants.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, gameplay wise though, I'm thinking he does scale off a defense, and
It makes
depending.
the most sense.
Yeah, and depending on how much he scales is like how much damage he does, obviously. But I think depending on that, I don't know. But I'm thinking he's
Then again,
EX.
his numbers could change as well.
True. This is just speculation, and this is before 2.1.
We
But
have about 2 weeks
And-
time. A little over that.
So, real quick, Gepard's ult scales on defense, but at max, even with his E3, is only 48% of his defense.
yeah,
So let's say the stackable shield at max stacks is like 20%. That is still a lot.
yeah.
Shield.
I mean, I think his scaling is going to be higher just because he's not limited and he's actually like, or sorry, what he is limited, and he's not on a standard banner. So I think we are probably going to make his stats a little bit better than Gepard. So,
Yeah.
but at least my main thing is though is if he can self-sustain, he's EX. But if he can't, then his value's low key. He's probably like really low S tier. But
100% be running him on speed moves.
oh yeah,
100% you are running him on speed moves and like energy regen, bro.
yeah,
See, my one worry is that, like, we know he's skill point hungry because he's always gonna want to spam that skill because it gives the shield, right?
hmm
That kind of worries me about some of his teams because depending on what team he is, some teams may not be able to give him a skill point every single turn.
it depends.
I mean, there is the follow-up team.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because he does do follow-ups. So it's probably gonna be L+ratio and Topaz is where he's probably gonna be.
Yeah,
he's
and then
probably
you
gonna
have
be the
Yuan, man, then you're gonna have him.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the team.
Topaz is gonna be your skill point positive. You always want to use your skill with ratio. With Ruan Mei, you want to use your skill once every 3 turns.
Yeah,
So you could maybe manage, but you're gonna have to skip his shield eventually, and that's the thing that
Oh,
worries me.
Well, the thing is, as well, if you had gotten Ruan Mei's Cone, she actually gives a skill point back anytime you use her ultimate. So that upgrades her skill point efficiency as well. And not only that, but you have Bronya's Light Cone as well.
yeah,
Bronya's Light Cone also gives a skill point back, but it's after you use it once. It's after the second ult, or like the second ult after you use the first one, that you can actually do it again. So it is like a little bit of a lesser version of Ruan Mei's. But Ruan Mei's, you can do it every time you use her ultimate.
yeah. I don't know. I think
So it does upgrade her skill point efficiency, essentially.
yeah. I don't know. I think it just depends. But I'm mainly going off of. I don't think in my opinion, I don't think his damage is really what's key about him because he's preservation. I think it's mostly about how well can he defend the team, and if yeah. So
I think he's not
Not
gonna have
only
any
that-
issues with that because he's preservation.
Not only that, but it also comes down to Clara's situation. Clara is meant to tank, but she can dish damage back.
True.
So there is that perspective as well.
The thing with Clara is that you're building her as a damage dealer, but she is naturally tanky.
Yeah. Which, yet again, comes down to how Aventurine is going to scale. Is going to determine how tanky he is, how hard he's actually going to hit, how much shield he's generating. So yet again, off of pure speculation, I would say right now he's EX at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. Okay.
But when it comes to his affixes, my money's on either HP or defense, either or, crit rate, and effect resistance, most likely.
Yeah, weirdly, I think he's gonna use both. I think he's probably gonna be both HP and defense. But scaling wise, probably leaning more towards defense. Scaling wise. Okay, we can.
Okay, Gallagher.
Gallagher.
I think he.
But I have no idea. Like Abundance
Then
Healer?
again,
What, Abundance Fire?
Maybe 18.
Abundance Fire. But the thing is, does his ult heal at all? Or is it just his skill that heals?
That would be a determining factor.
Yeah, I don't think his ult heals. I think it's strictly damage.
Yeah, because if he's supposed to be a more DPS healer, I would say B tier.
Yeah.
But if his ult actually does like decent damage and also heals, then that would be an A tier.
Do we know if his healing is single target or AoE?
I think it's single.
Yeah, his healing on his E is single target.
Oof.
Yeah, so it'll all come down to if his ult actually does heal the team at all.
But then again, that effect though, we don't know what that effect
I don't
does.
think it does because
There is a debuff. Yeah, there is a debuff he applies, which we don't know what it does.
you want me to take a wild guess? What if the debuff he applies on the main target? It's kind of like
It's an AoE. It's an
Yeah,
AoE.
I know it's an AoE, but you know how it might randomly choose who to apply the debuff on? What if your team attacks the debuffed enemy, they heal for a percentage of his, I don't know, break effect?
Maybe.
Like kind of a lifesteal business, but not really.
Kind of?
That would be interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Gallagher is the one we have probably the least amount of information on.
You want to play it safe and
Or
put in
the-
B?
Yeah, I have him
mean-
in B right now.
Yeah.
Wait, okay.
Right now he's looking B.
There is something. Okay. On his ultimate, yeah, so deals damage to all allies and inflicts a mark. Gallagher will use enhanced basic attacks instead if enemies have a mark instead. And it can be triggered only once. However, his talents is enemy marked. Enemies with the mark, so enemies who are taking damage by the ultimate, they have their break damage increased. And then, Gallagher heals himself, apparently. And
He heals himself?
yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's that great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not that good.
Increased break effect. Yeah. And even on his E6, and his E6, all it does is increase break effect and increases weakness break efficiency. So he seems pretty greedy, healer-wise.
Why does this remind me of Natasha?
Yeah, he's looking kind of mid, and it's kind of going against the whole purpose of abundance, which is healing your team. It's like, why are you healing yourself? Like,
Dude,
I don't know.
hot take.
It's weird.
Here.
Yeah, that Loki's kind of stupid, because why are you healing yourself? Why are you healing yourself? That's
It's like, why would I spend an entire skill point to heal one of my allies when Luocha can do it for free? Guoho can heal 3 targets and cleanse, or I could just, I don't know, in Adventurine's case, just protect my team from taking damage in the first place. And I know people are gonna say, oh, but those are 5-star. Okay, sure, Lynx exists. And Lynx has, if you heal with her normal skill, I'm pretty sure she, like, gives you something that, like, when you're hit, she restores a portion of health for, like, a few stacks or something. I don't know, she has something
That's
like that.
bailu's ult. That's bailu's ult.
No, I know Lynx has something. She has something on her skill. I just don't
She
remember
gives
what.
continuous healing, so they heal on
Yeah,
her.
that. Okay, thanks for correcting me. That's the thing I was thinking about. But like even Lynx has something going for her. Gallagher's
Yeah.
is like just a plain old heal from what I can see, from what I've heard.
yeah, and it's
So,
Then again, pure speculation.
yeah,
Don't
pure
know if you can add
speculation.
Anything else?
true. Okay, one thing I did, like, quickly though, if this is his final kit, what would have been cooler is if he ulted, he had this life steal effect on them, and where every time you attack, like every time your allies attack, they gain a portion of health. That is like based off of Gallagher's, like,
Well,
whatever
like,
he skills on.
take it a step further. You ult, and then whenever Gallagher attacks, he heals your entire team, but for a little bit of a higher percentage.
What if, real quick, during the animation, we had seen him like bringing out some sort of blood claw or like whatever. What if after the initial hit of the enemies with that claw, he flicks the claw up, throwing out an essence over the team to heal?
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. It also makes sense. Cause like, what he'd be throwing their blood essence or whatever.
Basically, yeah. Just throwing their blood up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would make sense. He kind of gives me the vibe of like, you know those like 1990s vampire movies, to where it's in like Britain, and the vampire is like actually kind of handsome but also very snazzy. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah, I mean, he's part of the Bloodhounds, so I wish he had something to do with blood, but too graphic. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is good.
To be fair, I don't know if Star Rail is really catering towards children or not.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Cause like,
I don't really think so. I feel like Genshin is doing that more.
they weren't afraid to pull the trigger on Tingyun, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also they're giving us depression in Penacony.
I was about to say they did the thing.
The fire.
Penacony.
They did the thing.
Firefly scene.
Dude,
Oh my gosh.
I can't go into my in-game lobby without getting depressed because I was stupid enough to put our game playing in the background.
Well, then go change it.
Right?
No, it's a good song, but it still gives me depression.
It's a good song, but if we get
It gives you
PTSD
depression.
from it, then take it away.
No, I'm reminding myself what Otto did was correct.
Oh my
Bro. Okay,
But
but
anyways.
yeah, this is the tier list though. Any corrections or anything else that we should add to it or no?
I think it's really good.
Yeah,
it looks fine.
Yeah.
I'd say it looks fun.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Dude, 2 hour 30 long video. It's
2 hours 30. Hey yo,
Yo,
let's go.
new record. New record.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Whoever listens to this is gonna have a blast and is gonna laugh their ass off, which is
Yeah, honestly, this was so much fun to make.
which is like cool and all, but whoever doesn't care, they're just gonna skip to the end of the video regardless, and then just see the tier list.
I mean, here, this is it. If you really want to know, this is it.
Alternatively, you could look at where we ranked each character and put timestamps for each character.
I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make timestamps for each character. Some of these are gonna be a little bit long, but it's because we're passionate and we actually like care. Unlike Pride Win, I'm just playing.
Dude, I love this game.
I'm joking.
Not only that, but the ones we went in depth with, they obviously have a lot more to work with and a lot more actual depth to the character, which actually makes them interesting.
You know what?
Instead of like very, very flat characters like Arlan,
Right.
Natasha.
Dude. You know what? I can't believe people say like Honkai Stars you push 2 buttons. Like, bro, there's actually like so many more deeper mechanics. Like if you actually play the game.
I mean,
most of the people saying that are definitely people who are just playing Genshin.
Real.
Look, if people have a problem with like the time it takes us to explain the characters, then like one, either skip to the end and see where we place them. 2, if it's such a time waster, next time, you know what? Next time I'll just do yanqing bad D tier. Go next.
Right.
But nobody would want to watch that.
Exactly. But no, I'm gonna put timestamps for each character. Yeah. But yeah, this is the main tier list.
On top of that, there is also the fact that Star Rail focuses a lot more on team building.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is actual depth to people running X over Y, or like Y over Z, or like there's actual stuff going on with the different characters.
Yeah.
That makes them unique.
Yeah, there's honestly like each character has just at least some depth in it. You know, D tier characters, definitely not a lot of thought went into them, but like I feel like at least some of these characters.
Or they're just bad.
Or they're just bad.
Or they're just bad.
But
Anyway, you might want to cut out this last portion of the video because it's literally just us rambling.
yeah, I'll just put this as like yapping, but I think at least the S tier characters, they have some depth. Like most of them have depth in their character. You know.
Unless your name is Argenti, aka D Luke.
True. Okay. Yeah.
Does nothing with fire.
Okay. I'm gonna end the video.
Close enough.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.
Toodles.
Yeah. Toodles.